So city health workers are deploring the fact that people are greatly exaggerating the flu pandemic that is going around. So this is just another wave of fear-mongering by the people, claim city health workers. In the last 30 hours, there's only been one death. And in fact, in the last 24 hours, there's been no more confirmed cases of the flu. However, there is a woman in Bismarck that claims that the local funeral home has buried more than 13 people on Monday. Now Dr. Strauss says this is a load of nonsense, that these numbers were actually conflated and taken from a period of 3 days. But even so, if you take the maths, the numbers still don't work. Dr. Strauss claims that this hysteria is doing the country no good and that people need to stop. He says this is just undermining the confidence of the people. Furthermore, he says that theatres and schools need to stay open. He says he has consulted with his fellow doctors and they all conclude with him that this is the best course of action. He also says that if parents discover that their children are sick, only at that point should they keep them off school. And he says if anybody doesn't like these measures and feel that theatres and restaurants shouldn't be open, then they should just not patronize them. Well, what can I say? So this was actually taken from a press release on December the 12th, 1918. This was at the height of the Spanish flu pandemic. As you can see, things still haven't changed much since those days. Doctors and scientists still can't get these things right. Like everybody else, when this virus started in 2019, my family and I, we went into full-blown panic. So back in 2010, my whole family caught the swine flu, and I can tell you that was really, really nasty. We were sick. I remember the doctor had to come out and inject both my wife and daughter. I'm not sure what with, but it did help a lot. But they were really, really sick. I mean, they were sick for at least 2-3 weeks. I fortunately managed to get over it quite quickly. So in late 2019, I knew this virus was coming. I'd been following the internet conspiracies regarding what was happening in China, and I was pretty shocked that the governments just didn't do anything about this. Everybody knew it was coming. It seemed such a shock to the government that this was going to come to the rest of the world. So our history is peppered with large-scale deaths of people due to pandemics. Black Death, way back in the 1600s, I think it was. Spanish flu in 1918. In fact, the Black Death killed almost half of the European population, and the Spanish flu killed at least 50 million people. It's only since the turn of the century that medical science and technology has paved the way for new vaccines and drugs to cure many of these diseases. These diseases have killed millions and millions of people around the world for centuries now. The problem is now that many of these viruses, they are starting to get around our drugs, antibiotics. Well, in fact, I don't think antibiotics actually work for viruses. But these viruses are finding a way around. Many of them are mutating. Thankfully, when they mutate, they tend to get weaker. But sometimes a virus mutates in such a point where it has learned the mechanisms of our defense systems and our drugs and in our bodies, and something is going to come along and wipe us all out again. So are we creating the perfect storm? I know that this current virus has affected many families. There's going to come a time when a new virus appears and does some real damage. At this point, I just want to talk about a book I found on Amazon. It's written by Dr. Gupta, and it's about pandemics. So this book gives you a very basic understanding of infectious diseases. It's only 30 pages long. It's a good start, and it gives you the basics of about infectious diseases and viruses. So the big problem nowadays is fake media. We just can't tell the difference between truth and lies anymore. And unfortunately, fake media requires eyeballs on their websites and newspapers to make money. And when this happens, when money gets involved, what they try and do is scare people half to death. So this little book tries to rectify that and balance out some common sense about what these viruses really are, dangers they pose to us. So the other curious thing that is discussed in this book is herd immunity. Now I know that there's been a lot of discussion about this in the media, and people have been arguing backwards and forwards. But are we creating the right conditions to really set a virus free that's going to wipe us all out because we don't have herd immunity? Now I know this is a bit of a hot potato within the medical community, and there's no real consensus on this. And it's only a matter of time before a terrorist organization, or rogue country for that matter, starts developing a weapon using one of these viruses, and that will be the end of all of us. So if you're wanting a basic understanding of pandemics and viruses, then this quick read will be for you. Basic and easy to understand.